Welcome to Ghost of a Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Lagnato. I'm an astrologer, psychic medium, and animal communicator, and I'm going to give you your weekly horoscope and no bullshit mystical advice for living your very best life. Hey, welcome back to Ghost of a Podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you about this eclipse. So here's the thing. This eclipse is such a big deal that I had to make its own separate episode for it. It's a big deal. Eclipses in general are a big deal. Usually eclipses come in pairs. And what we have right now is the third in a trio of eclipses. There's a reason basically why me and every other astrologer you follow is talking about this stuff incessantly. Whenever we have eclipses, it is a big deal. And the reason why is because it really expands the opportunity for growth and change. And, when I say growth and change, it kind of sounds awesome. It sounds fun. But the truth is, when we grow and when we change, even if it's an improvement, it introduces instability into our lives. It introduces uncertainty into our lives. And most of us, most of the time, respond to those circumstances with anxiety or any other, many other ways of being kind of uncomfortable, right? And so whether you're going to grow or expand, the easy way or the hard way is kind of immaterial to the universe. What we are meant to do now is to grow. And so I really want to just start this whole episode off by saying, look around you, look at your life, look at the things that have been really difficult for you. Look at the world, look at the things that really just break your heart or they hurt you. They resonate with you, and they resonate with you as not where you want them to be. Find your agency. We have this eclipse, the solar eclipse in Leo. This is Leo season. And Leo season is a time for agency. It's a time for creating and co-creating what you want to see in the world. It's performing the act of love and making the act of love a powerful act. And so know that the problems that you're having, the struggles that you're having, are an opportunity and even a call to engage with those things and not to evade them. But perhaps I get ahead of myself. Let me pull it back for a second here and say, a solar eclipse. Let's talk, okay? A solar eclipse is really a new moon. And what is a new moon? A new moon is when the moon and sun are at the exact mathematical degree of the exact same sign. And because the moon moves through all 12 of the signs once a month, right? That's why we have these lunar cycles, and people who menstruate have their cycles theoretically match up with that. We basically have the moon moving through all the signs. So theoretically, we've got 12 months, 12 signs, and we have a new moon every month, and each sign gets one new moon per year. Sometimes, every blue moon, we have a couple, but generally speaking, that's the rule. And so new moons in general are when the sun and moon meet. So the sun is meant to be your will. It is not your identity. It is your source of light. It is your you-ness. And the moon is your feels. It is your memories and your emotional nature and your needs. And when these two things meet up in the sky, we have this really fertile energy where we can have new beginnings, greater insight. This is really fertile, dynamic energy. And when that new moon just so happens to be a solar eclipse, as we have on August 11th, 2018, what happens is it's really, really intense. What happens is we have an intensifying kind of juiced up version of that energy. It is more fertile. It is more dynamic. It is also more demanding. It wants you, it implores you to change and to grow. So it's a big deal. And the fact that this is the final of the three eclipses is also a big deal. With it comes, just kind of like this rush of energy. And so if you've been feeling extra intense, if the people around you are just a lot to handle, yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. don't worry so much about it. Instead, respond with integrity around it. When we lose track of what we're feeling by shifting into what we think about what we're feeling, then we're kind of, in a way, repressing the feels. It's really wise to listen to what you're feeling right now and be present for it, because in that way you can more effectively move into whatever it is you're being called to move into, whether it's greater compassion, taking more responsibility for yourself. Maybe you need to tighten up. Maybe you need to just get messy. But you can't really know if you're trying to figure out your feelings before you've truly felt them. When we talk about lots of stuff within astrology, you'll find that astrologers talk about extremes, like these either ors. This is either going to be a time that is really creative and profound for you, where you kind of move through things that have been huge blocks for you, or it's going to feel like a time where you're just drowning in emotion and really aware of what isn't working in this visceral sense. And the thing about astrology, the reason why we're often giving you these either ors, these extreme articulations of how it could go, is because we're talking about energy. We're talking about potential. And then what happens with that energy and that potential is this magical, wonderful kind of marriage between your free will and your circumstances. And your circumstances are theoretically kind of a composite of lots and lots of people's free will all at once, kind of coming up to your personal circumstances at this moment. So I say all of this to you because it could really go either way. And, I got to say, having things be difficult doesn't mean you're failing. Having things be easy does not mean you're succeeding. The truth of the matter is growth has got to be the goal. And growing towards what? Well, according to me, it's growing towards wholeness, growing towards being able to embody whatever it is you're going through with love and with kindness. And being able to do this in ways that are active and not theoretical, but like really embodied. And so whether you have to struggle to get there or you just happen to magically flow there, one isn't a better way than the other. Certainly we would all like, magical ponies to like bring us to the happy place. But, there's a time for everything. And astrology explains that time for everything. At this time, you may find that your mistakes are helping you to grow into the person you want to be. You may find that your failures or your shortcomings are really pointing the way to what needs your attention and light. And let's talk about the big picture potential for this eclipse. It's light. Leo is where the sun and moon is, and Leo is the sign of light. And it is big light, Leo does everything extra. And so when we're talking about big light, you got to know that there's going to be a big shadow. Every light casts a shadow, and wholeness requires that we are willing and able to step into that light, understanding that part of the light is the shadow. Don't fear the shadow. Don't resist the shadow, deny the shadow, because it is part of it. It's a part of it. And so you don't have to feel great about it, but do stay with it. This is a period where we can really look at the themes of power and creation in ourselves, in our relationships, our projects, and in the world around us. And the thing about Leo energy, the thing about power, is that it is very easily corrupted. Leo is associated with royalty and that kind of big energy. And, we all know that can get corrupted very easily and very unpleasantly. But true power is not dominion or power over other people or circumstances. True power comes from the seat of worthiness, of wholeness, and of love. We have this idea that love is some sort of a weak thing or it is some sort of a passive thing. And love can be passive, but it is also a fierce and kind of burning fuel for action. And when we find a way to motivate ourselves through the act of love, even if it's motivating ourselves to like go to the dentist out of an act of self-love, it is powerful and it gets great results. This is a period for really thinking about co-creating your life, really engaging creatively with the potential of how you relate to yourself, how you act, what motivates you, what you do, and how you tolerate the feelings and circumstances that come your way that you don't know what to do with. When you align yourself with truth, with your truth, even if you don't really know how to get where you want to be or what exactly it means yet, if you can align yourself with the truth, including the shadow, then you're already in a stronger place to act from. The key here with this solar eclipse time is to not fixate on proving yourself. You've got nothing to prove. You don't need to develop power right now. You don't need dominion. You don't even need results right now. It would be awesome to have, power and results and for everyone to see that you're awesome and you're trying and for you to just get what you want. Obviously, that would be awesome. And I hope you have that. However, if you don't have those things, it is not evidence that you will not have those things. What we are meant to be doing right now is aligning ourselves with our own greatest good and to be willing to be with the wholeness of our own light, even the shadow. And that requires presence. And it requires the willingness to actively participate in the good, the bad, and the awkward of your life. So here's my homework for you with this solar eclipse. Find a cause to love. And that cause can be self-esteem. It could be getting yourself a new apartment. It could be participating in healing some of the terrible tragedies of the world right now and a million other things. But find a cause to love and act from that place of love. Try to stay aligned with love when you act, even if you're scared, even if you're overwhelmed. When you can remember that you are a creative part of a greater whole and that you count, you actually really do count. I'm not just saying this as some woo-woo bullshit thing. You do count. We're all here for something. And if you can really set the intention around this period to be an active part of creating the life and a world around you that you want to live in, then you don't need it to all be worked out right now. But that active approach will yield results because eclipses play out over a longer period of time than regular new moons. And so we will see the results of how you handle this period over the course of the next 6 to 9 months. Okay. So do your best, try. You don't need to succeed at this moment. You need to try at this moment. So be kind to yourself, find your agency, find your will, and stay present for it all. And that, my friends, is my eclipse horoscope for you. I super freaking love you. I really do. I do. And I really am excited that you're here with me for Ghost of a Podcast. I am going to do something I'm really excited about on this podcast. And I'm going to start on next episode. These episodes will be dropping on Sundays. I'm going to answer questions, listener questions. You can go to my website and there'll be a little form there that you can fill out and ask me your questions. I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet. I'm going to tell you right now, probably not going to read a lot of novellas. So keep it succinct. Write me a question. And, I do lots of cool, weird shit. I'm an astrologer. I'm a psychic medium, and I can talk to cats and dogs and stuff. I'm an animal communicator. I mean, I don't know if you ever heard me on Serpentcast. I talked to a snake. That was really fun. So, hit me up with questions. I'll probably only pick one per episode, but I'm really excited to answer them for you. So stay tuned, subscribe, share, do the things that people do with podcasts. Okay. All right. And act from a place of love. God damn it. Just try it. All right. Thanks. Bye.